Welcome to the Bring Me to Life podcast. Here are your hosts, CeeLo Mon and Shannon Shine.
Hi guys, welcome to Project Bring Me to Life podcast. Thank you for waking up and shining on with us.
We are very grateful that you are with us right now. And on this episode, we talk with Nick Meador, a holistic facilitator and somebody who suffered through chronic fatigue syndrome for a long time. And it's been hard for him to find something to, combat chronic fatigue. So what he decided to do was go to Spain, travel all the way to Spain by himself, and walk about 400 miles on the Camino de Santiago, which is known as the Way of St. James. It's a spiritual pilgrimage. And what happened to him along the way was so fascinating that, you're just going to have to stick around and listen to the podcast to hear what that is. I will say that one of them is being unstoppable. We talk a lot about being unstoppable. So please stick around. We're going to take a very short break and we will be right back.
Welcome to Project Bring Me to Life. Bringing to life the conscious arts. Giving a voice to spirituality. Covering art, music, metaphysics, and holistic health.
Hey everyone, it's Nick. I'm in front of the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. I have arrived in this place that seemed imaginary for most of the last 2 months of my walking. So far I've gone about 660 kilometers or 410 miles. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it sink in some more. It's still feeling very surreal to be here and to think of what I've accomplished over the last 2 months. I'm feeling like so much more is possible in this life than I realized before I started living with chronic fatigue syndrome. Whatever you're dreaming about over on the other side of this video, get to it. Life is short.
All right, and welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that break. So the focus of this podcast is we're going to be talking with a man who's done some very amazing things. Nick Meador. Nick combines a variety of communication awareness and process dynamic systems into an unprecedented approach to healing and self-development. His work can benefit individuals or couples, families, and also groups and organizations. Nick is all about pushing the edges of our self-image and perceived abilities by getting in touch with the energy of that which disturbs, frightens, or mystifies us. Problems and conflicts, whether in a relationship, your emotional life, your body, or your dreams, they become doorways to growth, meaning, direction, fulfillment, or in short, transformation. Nick, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me again. It's good to talk with you both another time.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you and we're excited to hear about your adventure.
Yeah, so last time that we had you, we for anybody listening who, is just tuning into the podcast for the first time, this is our third interview with Nick. We did 2 other ones. Podcast number 67, we talked about overcoming limitations associated with chronic fatigue syndrome. And also podcast number 5, which was just an introduction to the facilitator, Nick Meador. So this is his third time on here. Last time we talked to you, you were about to leave to go on a spiritual pilgrimage. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, we talked when I was in the thick of the training period that went from July to August. I gradually each day increased the distance that I was walking and the weight. And so I was training for the pilgrimage called the Camino de Santiago. That's in Spain. And it has been going for hundreds of years. It's become more popular in the last couple of decades. So each year more and more people do it. And now I think on the main route,
there are more than 200. I think there are around 250,000 people walking it each year. I went on a more alternate route, so there were fewer people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the spiritual pilgrimage that you're going on was a way for you to overcome your chronic fatigue?
Well, I thought of it as the first, like a turning point. So a first step when I was really starting to take more responsibility for my own recovery, because chronic fatigue has been a part of my life for about 4.5 years. And up till this summer, I was really hoping that some other professional or specialist would make it just go away, would cure it, or make it vanish. And so I got to a point this summer where I just realized the way I was viewing and interpreting my health situation was actually not helping. It was probably making the overall situation worse.
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing is incredible. Like going abroad by yourself and walking. How long were you walking for?
I was walking for 42 days, and that was thank you for what you said, by the way. So I had about 42 days of walking, and I split that into 2 parts. I planned that in advance to split the walking, and then in the middle have a break where I went to a seminar in large group facilitation and leadership. And that ended up being just perfect because I walked for about 3 weeks, and then my body was pretty worn out. So I got to rest and regroup my energy. And then after the seminar, I went back and was walking for another approximately 2 weeks or a little bit more.
And how many miles was that?
It came in total to about 410 miles, and that's not counting the, exploring the town in the evening and a few times where I had to backtrack to get to a place to sleep.
Jeez, that's quite a long way to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of have to look on a map to really get a sense. Or for me, I felt like the numbers can seem kind of abstract, but when you look, for instance, I took the number I was walking and put it on my home state of Michigan, and then it made a lot more sense how far I was actually going.
Let's bring up a picture of Nick's journey. So wow, that's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
That's quite a walk.
Yeah, for sure. How did walking, all that that long journey of walking, how did that affect your chronic fatigue?
It was the most surprising thing. I had noticed even during the training that I was not having nearly as many issues with chronic fatigue as I was expecting, because essentially it can involve muscle aches and sort of cloudy headedness and just a general feeling a little bit like a flu, actually, sometimes. And so with the training, I started with 2 miles a day. And by the time I went to Spain, I was up to around 8 miles a day. And already by that time, it started to seem like spending all that time outdoors in fresh air and getting the activity that didn't just totally wipe me out. Because if I were to go running, for instance, if I were to go jogging, that would probably be too much too fast. But there's something about the pace of walking and feeling the earth with each step that was very refreshing. And I definitely got tired out there on the Camino. Definitely had aches and pains and things, but it wasn't like the usual stuff. It didn't bring me down at all. It just felt like as long as I rested and did yoga each evening, that I was able to, for the most part, keep up with things.
Wow, that's so brilliant. So you think your training really helped you with dealing with chronic fatigue, or did it are there any lasting effects that you've experienced so far?
Yeah, it's complicated and mysterious. For one thing, I was getting my body into better shape than it had been in a few years. And another thing that I noticed is that there are physical aspects of the condition, and then there are also the mental, spiritual aspects. And so one of the big changes that I was also going through, in addition to the physical training, was changing some of my mental activity. I was working more with affirmations and getting better at interpreting situations in a way that at least was a little bit more optimistic or more productive. And so when, for instance, over the summer, when I was doing the training and I might have some symptoms come on, if I could just stay calm and keep breathing and then go for a walk, then I noticed that I usually felt a little bit better, at least later on.
Mm-hmm. What affirmations were you using?
I had 20 or so, but my favorites were "I am unstoppable." I was writing that one on my arm so that I could look down if I was on a really long walk and I was getting tired of it. I could, get that reminder. "I am a strong and powerful person" was another one that really, there's something about the vibration of these statements where if I said them out loud while I was walking, that I could feel it through my body, and it just gave me a really nice tingle, like a jolt of energy. Mm-hmm. "I do things my way" was another big one.
Mm-hmm. I am unstoppable.
Yeah,
that's a powerful one. And you're also releasing is it a webinar?
Well, the first plan was to essentially, by the time the Camino was coming to a close, I noticed that a lot of people had been following my journey, and a lot of people were telling me that it was inspiring and that they want to walk the Camino someday. So I'm not sure how I got the idea specifically, but the first idea was to do a webinar where I could show some of my pictures and talk about my journey and what I learned. And I tried to get it together when I got back, but I definitely had a pretty heavy integration period for the first couple of weeks coming back. And so at some point I decided it would be logistically easier to create a video presentation that I could record, and then people could just download and watch on their own. And so that's the way I ended up going. And I'm going to be releasing it this week. So by the time people listen to this, it will be available.
I know that you're about to go on another trip. We'll get into that a little bit later, but for now, let's get into some of the changes that you've made professionally and personally from this Camino de Santiago pilgrimage that you went on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you can imagine, having each day 4 to 8 hours of walking mostly by yourself, then I had a lot of ideas about what I want to do with my life from here on out. And I had I came back with some hunches about what was working so well out there, for my health and my well-being. So as far as, well, first the professional ideas I noticed very early on that I wanted to start experimenting with doing walking coaching sessions with people, because I do a holistic coaching indoors already, and it can involve some movement. But when I was on the Camino, and even before that, when I was just doing my training by myself, I noticed how therapeutic of an activity walking in nature can really be. And then later on the Camino, I decided that I want to start a company. So that's going to be called Inner Waymark LLC. And it will start with the type of coaching and facilitation that I already do, and probably some publishing. And then later on, I want to move more into organizational consulting, helping groups and companies with their communication patterns.
That's interesting. What would that involve? Working with them on their communication?
Well, I think that this is a growing area right now. There are process facilitators that will work with an organization on a short-term basis, and so it might be a company or a governmental group or any kind of. Or actually, there's also a growing need for this in intentional communities as well. I think that's a big place where process facilitators are starting to go into a community and give some training and guidance, and then just in a short-term way. That feels a few years down the line for me, but it's definitely a goal.
I've experienced some of your work, your communication work, and it's very unique. It's very well done, and it's very enjoyable. Actually, it's a pretty fun thing to do. Is there a place that people can go to find out more about this?
Yeah, my website is the best place right now. That's ndmeador.wordpress.com. Yeah. There in the coming year, especially, my goal is to start accumulating different kinds of training. I'm actually going through Reiki 1 training right now, and I look forward to integrating more of that energy healing approach into what I already do with the facilitation.
Nice. How do you feel about your Reiki 1? Are you going through the attunement?
Yep. Well, it sounds like what I'm going to have on Monday is called a placement. It's some kind of new way of, so it's not exactly an attunement. It comes from, I think, from the holy fire, or no, I think it comes from the kahuna. Kahuna. Anyway, yeah, I'm so new to this. I don't exactly know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's very cool. So let's talk a little bit about this trip that you're about to go on now. You're going to Central America?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is this another trip to sort of improve your condition?
Right. Yeah, we left off about the professional and personal changes that I'll be making. Mm-hmm. So I actually this vision to go to Central America was born, but in a way it was born before the Camino vision, because with the living with chronic fatigue, the last 2 winters have been definitely the hardest time of all. And now I'm starting to see why. I think it's not just the temperatures going below freezing, but me being stuck in my house, or, at home. And so not having a lot of physical activity, not having a lot of social activity. And then my mood would go down. And so it was kind of like the past 2 winters were perfect storms, where it just became a really unpleasant time. And so I was starting to see, especially through social media, I was seeing people post from their own journeys to Central America, places like Guatemala and Nicaragua and Colombia. And so that's when I started to reach out to New Mundo. They were going by the name Project Nuevo Mundo at that time. And so New Mundo, they were able to connect me with what they call impact centers, intentional communities and eco-villages. And that allowed me to have some email correspondence with the leaders of those communities and get a sense of which ones would be a good fit for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually had Shannon Gladstone, who's one of the co-founders of New Mundo, and that was podcast number 59, Traveling with Purpose. So everybody make sure you check that out. And definitely New Mundo is a very powerful organization, and it's so cool to see some of our favorite people joining together and collaborating on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a great group, and it's they have a fundraiser going right now, so that would be a good thing to check out as well. It's a good group to support.
Oh yeah, for sure. So when you were talking about how chronic fatigue gets a little bit more difficult to deal with when you don't have activity, do you think having that physical activity, having that training and that fitness somehow helps you overcome the symptoms of chronic fatigue?
Yeah, this is part of the mystery of chronic fatigue, because one thing I haven't mentioned yet is when I finished the Camino, I had about 10 days of the heaviest symptoms that I have felt in a while. And so I wondered what that was about. And so, yeah, first I'll talk about the training, because if somebody is really, really in the depths like I was last winter, if I were to just go take a long walk, that would probably actually make it worse. But there was somehow I caught a wave over the summer where I just started very small with the walks and gradually built up. And so I'm finding that it definitely helps to be in better shape, to have the muscle tone that I was lacking for those years. And it's like I was saying too, it goes, the physical and the mental go hand in hand. Because if I notice I'm having an icky mood and I go take a long brisk walk, then I definitely feel better physically and mentally afterwards.
Yeah. Do you still use the affirmation since you've gotten back? I am unstoppable.
Yeah, I haven't been saying them out loud as much, but if I catch, it's when I catch the term icky mood seems funny, but yeah, if I notice something going on with my mood, then I definitely do go back to the affirmations, and then after a few hours, I notice I'm breathing better and feeling better.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah.
And the thing about affirmations, like when I first heard about them, I was seeing it more like a programming kind of thing where you just get a book and go or even like a guided meditation. And what I found worked for me better was to come up with ones, either things that came to mind during meditation or yoga, or just ones that I could feel really strongly when I read them and said them out loud. So I think it's really important to kind of to kind of personalize the affirmations.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Usually, I'll go running in the morning and I'll do a little affirmation. And I say, I'm grateful for love. I'm grateful for health. I'm grateful for wealth. I'm grateful for opportunities, and I'm grateful for abundance. And I notice the more consistent I do it, the more opportunities come, the more abundance comes, the more I'm like attuned to love. And it's just, I definitely agree that affirmations are great. And also if you are doing affirmations, make sure you follow through. Like you can do affirmations and the universe will bring you opportunities to attract what you want to attract and to manifest what you want to manifest. But you got to take that action step to doing it.
Yeah, I like to think of affirmations kind of like a motto too, like a personal motto. Like one of my favorites is get comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're so often found in an uncomfortable situation that you have to kind of get through to get to the next chapter of your life. And it's just interesting to hear everybody else's affirmations. So if you are in our chat room, it'd be really cool if you posted maybe your favorite affirmation or your motto to get you through the day.
Mm-hmm. Good one. Good one, definitely.
Yeah, that all sounds great.
Yeah, so how long are you planning on being in Central America?
Well, this trip in some ways is like 180 total opposite of the Camino trip, because when I went to Spain, I had a return ticket and I had a pretty specific plan for what each week would involve. Mm-hmm. And this one's much more open-ended. I just have a one-way ticket, and so I'm feeling a little bit torn, because a part of me wants to take my laptop and be able to do that kind of online work. Mm-hmm. And then the part of me that's winning out is wanting to just take a small bag, as small as I had on the Camino, mm-hmm. and be able to move around a lot and visit a variety of communities so that I can get more experience and face some fears about being mobile and and just going into situations that are new and maybe confusing or challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely approve that. Just going and taking a small bag, just stuff that is essential, and letting everything kind of flow in the moment. I've been on a few trips where I've had nothing really but the bare essentials, and it's so freeing. It feels like pure freedom, just not having to check something, to check a message or try and reach out to somebody, just being in the moment and letting it all happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy that you're going to do this, and I bless your journey with all the blessings that exist in the blessing world.
Much appreciated.
And then we'll have to get you back on here again to hear about that one.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You're like our official traveler.
Yeah. So my rough plan is 2 to 4 months being down there, but I really have no idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a camera, it would be good to get some footage, make a little documentary.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, did you take your phone? Is that what you were doing your updates on the Cameo?
Yeah, I really found that worked for me, because sometimes laptops can be kind of stress-inducing for me, but somehow I was able to do quite a lot. Even one night on the Camino, I had Wi-Fi in my phone, and I wrote an essay on my phone for the first time ever. But yeah, I was taking all photos, all videos, and doing social media posts just using a smartphone.
It's really amazing what smartphones can do these days. You can do a lot. Like I run most of my businesses from my phone more than my computer because, like you said, it's not even just laptops. Computers in general, they like suck you in, and then you sit there for hours, and then you realize you're not even working on what you originally started. And with the phone, it's a little more basic. It can still be distracting, but you can get just as much done in a way.
I just have to turn most of the notifications off in the apps.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So you were going to say something when I mentioned about filming?
Yeah, because I didn't mention on this call that on the Camino I was taking selfie videos, not really even thinking about it, just wanting to share what was going on with people at home. And it became a kind of a hobby, actually. And so by the end of the trip, I knew that I wanted to start a video blog, essentially, because what I've been doing is just taking a couple 2 to 3 minute videos each week, just whatever I'm thinking about. And I'm finding that it's an interesting creative process. I haven't been writing as much lately because just creating a short video is so much quicker. I usually just do 1 or 2 takes, and it feels very fluid, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So I'll be posting videos like that from Central America. That's my plan.
Yeah, and your video blog, is it on YouTube?
Yep. Yeah, it's under my NM facilitator at gmail.com. YouTube can be a bit tricky to find. We can put the link in the description.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put that link there, and check out his video blog, because I watch your videos, and I saw one when you were on the Camino Santiago journey, and they were behind this shepherd, and all these sheep were just following the shepherd, and like he had bells on his staff or whatever. It was just so super cool to see that stuff is still existing today. Yeah,
that was one of the very, very magical moments on the Camino, for sure. And luckily I had another pilgrim there with me to well, I guess I took that video, but then someone was able to get some pictures of me that weren't just a selfie.
Dude, that's so cool. And yeah, your video blogs are great. They're very informative, and you have a brilliant mind. So everything that you talk about is really significant in the world.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it looks like Shannon.
I'll try to keep it coming.
Yeah, keep them coming, please do. So so everybody, if you want to check out more about Nick Meador, you want them to go to ndmeador.wordpress.com?
Yep. Yeah, and I have a Facebook page. I'm on all the social media, but my website will be the central hub where I'll link to all the different projects.
Really, yeah. We really appreciate you coming on here once again, and it's always a great time to talk to you, and we just love you so much.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing about your next adventure, and hopefully you'll be back for, season 4. You've been on every season so far. So.
Yeah, I love you guys too, and I've had a great time talking with you.
Great. Well, thank you, Nick. Thanks everybody for listening. Please stay tuned, because we do have a card reading and a meditation coming up.
So thanks for tuning in. Stay awake and shine on always. Hello everybody, it is Shantastic Shine here with this week's 3-card reading for Project Bring Me to Life, and I'm really excited to be here. I wasn't the one reading for the first card reading of the year, so I do want to say happy 2016 to everybody, and I hope that this is a great year for everyone. And yeah, so I'm just excited to do a reading for everyone, and if you're in the chat room, give us a shout out, say hello to everybody else in there. We're really excited to have a hop-in chat room, or at least we did first week of 2016, so join in on that at projectbringmetolife.com. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do this card reading. I'm using my Earth Magic Element Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer, and I've got these 3 cards here. Our first card is Lightning, and it represents power. Now, I do want to mention that this first couple weeks of 2016, I've had a lot of people coming to me, and some are so excited because they're getting ready to start a new chapter, and some of them are really scared because they're closing a chapter and not sure what's about to happen, but they can feel this shift. So embrace that right now that there's these magical powers that are just surrounding everybody and influencing the next chapter. And it's really a big shift. It's time to take that jump and leap of faith and really take on a new chapter and see what the world has in store for you. And the lightning card really represents this in a good way, because with nature, lightning is one of those energies that just really throws everybody into a specific energy. You're really either grateful that you're out of the rain and the weather and the wet elements, or you're looking for shelter, and it has this power against us to really just make us want to feel like we can watch the storm from a comfortable place. But the other thing that's important is it is electrifying. It shoots this energy through you that might motivate you into the next chapter. So the lightning card really represents a lot of different energies and different feelings for everyone. And just embrace the power around you, the spirit that's around you, the nature that's around you. There's so much magical power in what is nature and all of that surrounds us. Which leads us to our second card, which is the ceremony or invocation card. In this card, we have a beautiful young woman who's praying to some crystals, and she's got this angelic blue light just seeping in or out of her crown. So she's either sending out loving energy or she's downloading this energy from spirit that's really going to guide her to the next chapter. What this card represents is it's important right now to take part in our rituals and to really manifest what it is that we want in our lives right now, to bring that of the dream into the physical. And that's what the last card represents too. Our last card is wind or activation. It's important to activate that which we want to manifest into the physical realm, because though we may dream about it, it's important to really activate it. But to activate it, it may be needed that you detach yourself from your current reality, get out of the busyness that is happening, and take a moment to be in nature or to be in your sacred space, which the ceremony card is telling us to do, is to create a sacred space where you can really embrace the power of the spirit and all that is trying to download this next new chapter for you and really help you and guide you into the new activated chapter. So many people around you are going through this too, that it's important to acknowledge that you may not know what is happening in another person's world, or though it may feel like they're getting everything and you're being left behind, that may not be the case. There's a lot of things that are just unseen right now for so many of us and so many people. And it's important to be excited for those around you too, if you feel like they're doing positive things, and just embrace that. Embrace that they are doing positive things and be happy for them, and happy positive things will come your way too. So show gratitude for what is coming, and just believe in the good things coming. We here at Project Real Midlife really believe in the good things coming, and we hope you do too. So we hope that this card reading will help you in some way, and go ahead and share it with your friends on your favorite social media. And I thank you for listening and hope you stay tuned for the meditation. So stay awake and shine on always.
Hello and welcome to another 2-minute meditation. For this 2-minute meditation, we are going to become unstoppable. So sit back, relax, and close your eyes. Become aware of your breathing, noticing as your lungs fill with air. And as you breathe out, try to get all the air out that you can. And do this for a few times, relaxing the mind, relaxing the body. And now that you are relaxed, we are going to use the affirmation, I am unstoppable. Repeat it with me, I am unstoppable. Think back to a moment and when you felt energized, when you did feel unstoppable, when you felt like you were on top of the world. Just think of that moment. If you don't have a moment, just imagine one. Imagine what it would feel like. Hold on to the feeling of that moment. I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. Just know that we are all infinite beings. We have infinite potential. The only thing holding us back is ourselves. I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. Begin to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Whenever you're ready, come on back. Thank you for joining us. To hear more meditations by myself, you can go to csclawson.wordpress.com. Thank you, and have a great week.